rip down tourniquet pouch. It's kind of like a little parachute pack tray. You put your Cat 7 or your soft T in here, and it Velcros up and snaps closed right here, right? And you rip it open and it kind of falls into your hand. It actually works really well. And it's only 1 column wide, so you can put it on shoulders. You can put it where you have limited real estate. But I like the way this pouch is squared out like that. So when I started building this pouch yesterday, this is the 5th or 6th one, I had this in mind. And I just wasn't picturing it right. I just sat down and started building it, and I'm like, this isn't working. Let's revisit this now. I've got a little bit of math right here, and looking at these glasses, and you never know, building something rigid that you're going to put into a soft case, the numbers can move, right? If you want it to be less footprint, the material will move up and down instead of side to side, right? So these glasses here at the furthest point are like 2.5 inches. I'm going to start this off at a 3-inch footprint, and we'll go from there and see if we can shrink it down past that. So at 3 inches, I'm going to make it 5 inches wide.
You need some more of that?
No, I got enough right here. I've got rolls of material here. I'm just eating up this scrap. So I'm going to go, okay, there's our 5-inch from the edge. And I want it to be 8 inches tall. I actually want it to be 6 inches tall, so I'm going to make it 8 inches. And I'm giving an inch of allowance on each side to fold this over. If you're really good, you could do this with a 1/2 inch allowance. But I need this to translate so that everybody in my shop can sew this. And a lot of times when I make stuff like this, I'll actually trim the excess material off once it's done. But it's way easier to hem an inch than it is a 1/4 inch, right? Can I hem an 1/8 inch? Sure I can. My people inside can't consistently do that from station to station. So then I'm going to make my marks to sew this to, right? I want a 1-inch hem, so I'm going to make my mark at 2 inches from each edge. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here, 2 inches from each edge. I spend more time sharpening pencils than sewing.
You need a robo sharpener.
Huh?
You need a robo sharpener.
I need a fucking Crayola pencil sponsor. I never wear the same shirt twice. I'd be like, Amanda, let's go do this. She's like, I have to do laundry. I'm like, okay, you never do laundry again. So every time I order shirts, I order 10 shirts. So every time I do a video, I put on a brand new shirt. I need Crayola to give me so many packs of colored pencils that I never sharpen them. When my pencil goes dull,
Straight out of the box.
I put it in the trash.
When
When my pencil goes dull, I send it to Scott Biscuit or whatever his name is, and he laminates them together and carves human skulls out of them. You know who I'm talking about? Super famous dude on the internet, yeah. He took a bunch of Crayola pencils, laminated them all together, so he's got a block, and then he's done cue balls and human like skulls carvings out. Dude, they're beautiful. They're amazing. Okay, so this is the back piece we're going to fabricate right here. You're way faster sewing 3 of these than you are sewing 1 of them, because you can just chain all your pieces together. So I'm going to sew this in right here. Now, I'm not there yet. You can fold this over if you're good. You can hold it, right? If you're not really good with it, you can just sew it to the edge and then do it. Scissors. If you do that fold before it's hemmed down, you'll come out just a little cockeyed. Maybe it doesn't matter. depending on you, but maybe it does. So there's my, I've sewn to the edge. Here's my fold over here. So I'm going to go ahead and start here and travel down here. You could also go backwards, but you can see how it kind of puckers up. It adds more tension. And I just cut my thread for some reason. Weird. Our sewing machine mechanics here. I should get him to work on this machine, but I hate that. He'll fix whatever is wrong, and then tomorrow there'll be a problem with something else. It's the devil, you know. I know that this machine occasionally is going to break thread, but if I get it to stop doing that, it's going to create some way bigger problem. Develop the ability to work with something that most people would not. All right, and then there's always the question, do we sew all this shit down, right? Are we going to put a piece of Velcro over here depending on the product? We're not. This is the actual back piece. So yes, I'm going to go through and sew all this down because I don't want anything catching on it. And depending on your sequencing, the way you do it, you could catch it in a lot less labor than I'm doing right now, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and tack this down, travel back, come down, travel back here. I've still got one over here I didn't catch. You could also take and just fabricate a long piece, fold it in half, and conceal all that. I have definitely complicated this by talking to you guys and not paying attention to what the fuck I'm doing. All right, so there's the back piece. Now, man, I brought that light out here to see if I could use it for this, to add light from this side. And I'm still messing around here in the dark. I think that'll be good. Does it fuck your camera up?
Yeah, you'll be okay.
I'll be okay, but will you be okay?
I'll be fine.
Okay. Man, that hangs even... Oh, nice. Check that out.
Oh, yeah, so you can put it on the back. Or...
Man, that's pretty good. So this is a camera... This is a light Braun. I thought it was Icon. They have an Icon one like this. If you go to Harbor Freight, you'll notice they have 3 of what looks to be similar things. Good, better, best. And I think the Icon one of these is like 50 bucks. This apparently is not the Icon. The Icon's inside. But this has 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I guess once it is on for a time, when you turn it off, it comes back to the power you had it. Cool. USB-C chargeable. The case is metal. And the magnet's pretty good. Like most stuff I get with a magnet, it's not strong enough to really sit with the vibration. It's a very positive click on the pivot. And anyways, we had the power go off a few months ago, and I'm like, Amanda was in the shower, and she messaged me. Did she message me? How did she message me? No, she couldn't have because the power was off. Because Wi-Fi didn't work inside. Oh. Anyway, she's in the shower. I'm like, hey, do you have a lantern? She's like, I don't know where it is. I'm like, we bought lanterns. There was a lantern in every room, right? LED powered stuff. Anyways, the next day we went and bought every puck light, flashlight, everything Lowe's, Harbor Freight, and Home Depot had, with the intention of building a video to show you guys which ones were the best. Well, that hasn't happened, obviously. But here's this light, and I think it's going to work awesome here. She was using these in her 3D printers.
You could pop it right here, too.
Yeah.
And then just twist it.
Yeah, she was using these in her 3D, and it's kind of rubbery, too. It's rubberized. It's pretty cool. I'm actually really excited about this stupid light.
That's the best. I don't know what. There's an age you hit. 35. After 35, that's what matters.
Ooh, that's catching me in the face. There we go. I was sewing with a headlamp the other day, practicing for when the aliens and AI knock the power systems out in the United States, and we have to sew in caves. There's going to be a dude next to me riding a bicycle to generate power, but I'm going to use my headlamp under nods to sew all this stuff for the freedom fighters, for the movement, for the revolution. Okay. So I'm going to sew a piece here, and we're going to put the outside hems like this to kind of square the box out. I'm basically making a rectangle tube is what I'm doing here. Yeah, at least that's what I think I'm doing here. They'll be inside, and I'll see them with these little rolls on the table. And I'm like, give me that. They're like, I'm cutting on it. I'm like, you use new rolls because I don't want to have to move an 80-yard roll around. This is way easier for us out here in this little shop. All right, so this one's going to be 8x7. Let's try that right here. Seven tall, good, okay. I just try to make it to where the pattern makes sense. So it's 7 tall, 8 wide, just like that. Did you see Brandon got a bunch of Omniwall stuff?
Yes.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Looks so good. So many people comment about. I tag Omniwall all the time. Whoever's doing their social media is fucking terrible.
They don't care. They're probably selling enough of it to not give a shit.
Still, man, I literally buy stuff from companies because they are nice to me on their social media. I am real brand loyal to Leatherman because Leatherman replies to all their shit on social media. That's why I make such an effort to do it.
That's why I was crazy about Mozo stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of like DJI stuff, is because they actually respond.
You know, I saw. You're right. I didn't ever see DJI reply, but I saw GoPro replied for a long, long time.
Probably not anymore.
Probably not. You think I should switch to DJI?
If it was me, I would. The Osmo Action 5 has way better dynamic range, just looks better and is easier. This stuff will go right to your phone really fast.
Okay, so this looks a little out of square to me. It in fact is out of square, that's why. It is out of square by less than 1 millimeter. I can walk through the shop and be like, that's off. And they're like, what do you mean? It's a centimeter off at the top compared to the bottom. You're a 1/4 inch off. They're like, no, I go measure it. I promise you. You'll just start to where you can just see that shit. All right. So this is taller than it needs to be. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch hem here on the top and bottom, or close to it. I'm going to tack it right there. I'm applying a little tension so that it lays down smooth. I'm going to travel right here. No microfiber in this yet. We're just going to build the tube, see if it kind of fits. We can go back later and build another one with microfiber. If we were putting it in there, we would just put it in here and frame over it and cover all the raw edges. But right now we're just kind of building this for test fit. Same way I would build, this is the same way I would build a cover for a shotgun pouch if I was going to put a cover on a shotgun pouch. Doesn't really lend itself to our pull-out tray pouches. We used to make old LBVs for shotgun, and they would just be 6 rounds, 6 rounds, 6 rounds, 6 rounds, and they had a cover with a snap, and you would rip them down, they'd Velcro down and expose the shells. You don't need any of that bullshit. Unless you're on Facebook and you're worried about drunk guys who are probably not going to buy your shit anyways, telling you how those shotgun shells are going to get you killed. It's red. Those are the same guys also commented on a video 2 days prior telling me that Velcro will get you killed because of the noise. You know they have silent Velcro. No bullshit.
Well, the other thing is, if you're opening your Velcro, aren't you already in the fight?
That's my point. That's my point. Even with a suppressor, they already know you're there.
Suppressor doesn't make it.
People, that's yeah, guys. But guys giving you suppressor advice, who have never been around a suppressor, just like night vision guys who have never been around night vision. All right, so we're gonna fold this in right on that line. That's gonna give it that hard edge. At least I think it is. And I'm gonna sew as close to this edge as I can. I don't want to eat up any of the room. This is literally just to give it that shape. I like M4 mag pouches like this. It's a lot more work. I just like the way they look. I love that just as minimal, as tight as we can get it. Why did I put that on the inside? I can't, that light's fucking blinding me now. Here, let's put it.
It's because you have it on level 3.
Man, I'm fucking retarded. I'm going to start another company. We're going to call it Retard Tactical. Actually, we should probably buy that URL, right? Tell Amanda to buy retardtactical.com right now. Tell her to see if it's available before this video hits the market and we can't get it. We should look for Autistic Tactical, Retard Tactical. Okay, so there's that. We're not going to put, normally I would fold this over and put Velcro here and that would Velcro there. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to put this on here and we're going to put a limiting piece over here and then a lid here is how this will go if this actually functions. How tall do we really need this to be? I've got extra material here which I intend to cut off and adjust the pattern. So I think we can take at least an inch off. You think an inch off each side? Is that what let's sew it in an inch and see what it does. Let's see what 1 inch does. Because we have hemmed all these, we're not sewing on a raw edge and we're not going to sew raw edge here. It'll be super easy to cut this apart and put it back together as we need. So 1 inch, we'll put our hem right there. Do we need to connect them? Let's connect them. All right.
Is that almost half the length? A little bit.
Half the width?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably close. I'll bet I got a little more. Yeah, I got 2 1/4 here. Some of my best stuff we've ever made has been kind of on the fly like this.
Just eyeballing things.
Yeah, and guys are like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever made? We made a lot of weird shit, but I made an accordion case that was fully padded everywhere. And that was a weird build. And all I was doing was taking pieces of Cordura and just folding them like this and then building pockets and putting the foam. I could never rebuild that. Like, there's no math on it. I built that for Andy Stanford. He's insane. Legitimately insane. You don't know who he is, do you? Gringo Pistolero. You'd be in a restaurant. You'd be in a restaurant eating like $500 steaks. This motherfucker will get on top of a table with a ukulele and just start singing. And like, it's crazy as shit. I've seen him do it a dozen times. You were there. Do you remember me? It happened at Down Home, but it happened here at one of the parties. Jaeger, me, Brian Sayers, and I think Sherman House was there. Remember a dude pulled out he had a CD. He had made a whole CD of him singing. And he pulled out a ukulele and he's like, come on, let's sing these songs. You don't remember this? I'm positive you were here at one of the parties when that happened. Andy Stanford.
There's no way I have it.
People don't know that before Tactical Response was called Tactical Response, it was another company. Andy Stanford was one of the dudes in there. And he does classes still around. Okay, so we're gonna sew this right down here. And we're just trying to figure out, like you can do this all day long and set this here and think it kind of works, but until you sew it on there, you're not going to really know how much more we can take. And do we want it lower on one side because these are kind of a triangle? And I'm about an 1/8 inch long here. I'm not going to worry with it. I could totally push and pucker this back in here and make it line up and you would never know it. But we're not worried about that right now. We own retardtactical.com.
$13.20.
Retard Tactical. I own 137 URLs last I looked. Do you remember Code Red Racing?
I don't. Well, vaguely.
That was you. You were Code Red. Oh, okay. So maybe we do this. So there it is. The footprint's 3. We can bring it in. If we make this pouch kind of triangular, we could shrink this down to 2. And the only reason I'm after that is I have probably 8 inches of Velcro on my visor cover before all the elastic. And I can put this there, and then I can put something else in that other inch of real estate there. Or maybe we leave it alone, and then it will hold bigger, like M-frame Oakleys or such, right? A lot of dudes with their rifle or their, their shotgun or whatever for home defense, for instance, you're making a huge mistake not having amplified hearing protection when you hear that bump in the night, because it's just a force multiplier. It amplifies. You hear a sound, but with amplified sound, you realize that that sound is your daughter, your small child, instead of, Boo Boo LaFufu kicked your door. It helps you figure things out quicker. Also, it prevents that ringing in your ears if you do have to discharge that firearm. And I think that's the same thing, right? If you're going to come out of the vehicle with a gun, you might as well have Ear Pro. You might as well have eyes with you. Or how many times, I keep a scrunch and tourniquets and gloves in all the doors of my trucks, because there are many times when I just need those gloves. We use them all the time for something. And if I had the iPro, I would wear the iPro also. That's just something we can't fix, right? I personally really should walk around with a fucking helmet on all the time.
I integrated safety glasses into everyday life.
Yeah. But really, my scalp is so thin from just injuries over the years that if I even barely hit it, I really should walk around with a ProTech helmet on. Anyways, another inch. So these will definitely fit in here. Yes, we could shrink it down. What are we looking at for
With the microfiber, that would probably be pretty...
It'll take up a little room with the microfiber, but we can kick this in. We can just pucker it right here.
Do a 1-inch strap for closure right on the end.
Yeah, I'm thinking, do we even we could do a 1-inch strap. We can make the back panel bigger and pull it in. That would be nice and clean. This will be Velcro or, webbing, whatever. Maybe we just close that just like that. Maybe we just pinch it off. Oh no, kind of over it. The excitement is gone. Oh no, let's make this work somehow. All right, we know that will work, so. This is me, all this bullshit. Usually when I pick up a roll of material, there's a clean line across here. I don't have to.
It's usually pretty close.
It's usually pretty close.
It's one of my things, the little stuff. That's how it goes.
It's because you don't pay for the material.
I still use it.
All right, the back is 5x8. How do we microfiber that footprint with that frame all around there? Maybe we just make the frame smaller. Let's just hem right around the edges like we did. So let's just go 4x7. Notice I'm not writing any of this down.
We'll reverse it.
So it'll never be repeatable.
As long as you say it.
They used to bus us every Thursday to magnet schools, right? We lived in we had black kids at our school, but they would bus us, a whole busload of us, to the ghetto. And then they would bring kids supposedly from those schools to our schools. But we never saw them because we were gone on Thursday. And I can't imagine why they would send those kids to our school, because we didn't have any cool. They had all the cool shit. Like, they were sending us to the Kennedy Learning Center. That's what they called it. But now that I think about it, we were never integrated with those kids. We had like black kids and Mexican kids in our school that went to the Kennedy Learning Center with us. But we were in a compound inside a compound. Because I remember at recess, you're looking out and you're talking to these kids on the other side of the fence. There's some shit, right? But they would send us to Kennedy Learning Center. And I can't remember their names. I had 3 separate science teachers. What were you going to say? I had 3 separate science teachers, and they were very science based. And I remember him saying, he's like, always take notes. And he was telling us the importance of being able to read what you wrote. And I can't even read some of the shit I write half the time. Like, what the fuck does that mean? And I usually write in a format too. If I'm writing a cut list, I write all my 1-inch stuff, right? I'll write 1-inch webbing, 1-inch hook, 1-inch loop, 1.5 inch. And for some reason on this, I did not.
What do you think hieroglyphs? Was it just a guy that was just annoyed and he's just...
I actually took a class on how to read Egyptian hieroglyphs. I took a whole semester on that. I'm really good at not being able to read Egyptian hieroglyphs. But he said it's important to read that because you might have found the cure for cancer. And keep in mind, I was in 4th grade and we're talking about cancer back then. We still don't have a cure. Well, we do, but we kill all the guys that find the cures for cancer.
Didn't that just come out last week though?
Yeah, Japan says they got something.
There's like 2 other countries.
Russia says they've got it.
Everything that they've tried so far is cured.
Retatrutide seems to be looking pretty good for a lot of that shit. Anyways, he said, always take notes and make sure that everybody can read your notes, because you might have the cure for cancer and you get hit by a car and killed that day and nobody can read your notes. I don't know why I'm fucking went off on that tangent there, but so there.
I was just having a conversation about Tesla, and I was like, basically, he died in an apartment in debt with nothing.
Now they killed him.
Well, yeah, but also Edison and everybody else owned all of his stuff from debt and stole all of his ideas.
Where's the towers?
Where's everything?
Yeah, where is it? What are all those spires? You should follow a channel called Mims, Make It Make Sense. And he goes around. He was just in Nashville recently.
Looking at the buildings, right?
Parthenon and the courthouse in Franklin. Why are the doors 20 feet tall, right? And why do these doors have these little openings here, but they have openings up that you and I can't reach? Like why? It's just bizarre. All right, let's start with this back piece. Let's go ahead and frame this in with some microfiber here. I'm going to go Man, I hate cutting this shit.
That's only when the mic's working.
Okay. I just couldn't see the light on it because it was on the other side. I saw this.
But as long as that's up there, it's going on.
So are you teaching Cody because he's taking your job, or are you teaching Cody because you're about to hire Cody and he's not going to be here anymore? All right, we're just going to start real close to the edge here. Cody 1 Kenobi, you're our only hope. Help me, Cody 1.
Cody Red, Cody 1, Cody 10.
That's what your mom used to call you. Code Red Racing?
Yeah, is that?
I just bought that URL. We were going to do a line of clothing when you started riding dirt bikes and shit. It was not long after I did JW Industries.
I never got good enough to race.
Well, you never did it long enough. When you hit that ramp and put the dent in the side of my Yukon, the size of your helmet, the dent's still there. I can take you right now and show you. Did they Bondo it?
Yeah. We'll pop it out one too.
The worst paint job in the world.
Yeah, that was with a bicycle.
I ran right into that.
Yeah, I felt that. All right, now we want to...
The triple on the 50 was a good one.
I think the way to cut this, if you were going to use this microfiber shit, is to cut it with a hot knife. They've got Sailrite. Everybody's always like, what machine should I get? Should I get a Sailrite machine? Buy whatever you want. But Sailrite does make a hot cutter that's pretty decent. We've got one in there somewhere. And that'd be good for cutting this shit because it'll cauterize it at the same time. How do I want to cut this? There's definitely got to be a fucking better way than I'm doing it here. All right, give me my third hand. There we go.
You can build a lever with just a mannequin hand that comes up and down.
You could just find a really hot homeless chick while you're going to Starbucks or wherever and be like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I need your hand. So that lens is never going to be to where it can touch this corner. So I'm not worried about not having microfiber right there, at least not on this project. Well, I mean, I don't use microfiber or on any other thing, but... Yeah, I watched that video of him talking about all those lasers.
Yeah.
And he kept saying box laser. The fuck laser is not a box laser. Is it just one that screws onto like a weapons mount housing, like a light housing? Because he kept saying box laser.
I think he's just saying that to describe all of the, like your Wilcox, dolls, the Raid XEs.
Like the PEQ2 would be the PEC2 would be a box laser.
Call them all a box laser.
Yeah.
Unless it's like
I was just curious what it is if it's not a box laser.
I don't know that, but I do know there's a couple different types of emitters that they use.
Boy, guys were really speaking highly of that fucking Holosun.
For real, yeah. And that's not even a full power.
He said he went to buy one and he never was able to. They're always sold out.
You can find them through other places. There's a few different models of them, and you can get them in red and green too.
Okay.
I know what he was trying to get it from.
Amazonian. Okay, there's that. Are we going to shrink this down some? Are we still at the same footprint? Now my back matches actually where it should have been. Now it's right. All right, let's go 8 by 7. These fucking steps are driving me crazy here. All right, let's go right here. The width, okay, 8, 7. We used to buy all of these. I was telling Brando, we used to buy these at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. And they don't have any of this shit. Like the one, they have tons of these. They're all aluminum. You can't find a steel one, heavy.
They all have plastic stuff too.
And you can't find any of these. We used to buy these at literally at Walmart and at Lowe's. They don't have any of these, not these bright ass ones. You can buy these straight from Swanson. Just what you want to search is Swanson, and make sure you get a 36 because they make a 40 and they make a couple of other sizes. Cody really likes the 60 inch, the 72 inch.
I run the 48 every single day, and then I use a 72 if I'm doing anything longer than that.
Man, I've just used 36 so much. I know that I can go 36 and slide over to 12 faster than I can think 48. So anyways, Swanson, this is a great yardstick. Bright yellow. And you buy yourself 12 of them. It'll cost the same for shipping. All right. You remember Eli coming into town and we would just sit all night and do this bullshit right here. And it was usually nothing. He's like, he'd have this drawing and we'd build it. And I'm like, this is massive. Why don't we just make this a quarter the size? Like, we already have a compact tear off. We'll do all of this. Why don't you just use the compact tear off? That's usually what it came to. All right, there's that. We're going to put some microfiber on this thing. We're going to sew that closed. But we know that this is much larger than we need it to be.
Microfiber for that?
Huh?
You have enough for that?
Oh yeah, I got plenty of scraps there. I have a bunch more inside. I don't know, maybe we'll leave this one right here, just how it is. Let's just frame this in. We did so. So we're an inch on each of these, aren't we? Yeah, we can definitely take off of there. Let's go ahead and take 2 inches off of this. Gonna be too small now. What I use on that one, blue? Yeah. I'm gonna be in the shower later tonight.
Still finding that?
No, or tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna be like, why the fuck was I doing all this bullshit? And I'm gonna come up with some way easier than this to do this. Really, the answer is just cut this thing fucking smaller than this square. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. I feel I have a spider web on me. No, I really do. This is like Velcro. It sticks to everything. See it?
Yeah.
Does the other side do that? It does. That's probably why it works the way it does. Like it probably has barbs or hooks or something on it. Do we have what do I think? Let's just cut it and it'll be easier to work with. I really like this surged edge. I assume that if he needs us, Amanda will let us know if he has any questions about the sewing machine setups or anything.
I would think so. Cut that cone stand down earlier.
You did what?
The stands for all the cones of thread.
Yeah.
We've been chopping them down because they're too tall.
Who?
Well, he's had me cut 3 of them now.
Oh, no, for new machines?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All those machines are those vacuum systems on them. Did you see those? So all through that factory, they run off little compressors.
It's like a massive dust collector, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So what it does is it sucks all the thread off the machine, off the top, off the front and back, underneath, and it puts it in a trash can. So at the end of the day, they just empty the trash cans rather than throwing all the thread. The machine sucks it off itself. I wasn't sure how that worked or what that setup was.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be like a dust collector and they just went through and emptied this dumpster. That's how all the laser stuff is.
I'm surprised that factory was running off of 110.
Is it?
All those motors plug straight into our power.
I thought we swapped all those.
He's not swapping the motor on that machine right now. Those packages are 110. It's not enough. Yeah, that hem's not enough. That stitch line. Well, luckily we can fold this over. This shit is a mess. What am I complaining about? It's not as bad as working on dirty cars. Think about people that have been someplace where it was snowing or iced and shit, and then they bring their car in to have it worked on a couple weeks after that. Holy shit. I would assume most of those shops probably put that shit up on lifts and wash it first, huh?
Yeah. Do you wash your car before you take it for an oil change?
No. No, I'm not talking about an oil change. I would think that the shop would fucking want the guys working on it. Like, my trucks go to the dealerships to get worked on, and they clean my trucks when they're like, when I get my truck back after an oil change, it's been washed.
Yeah, most people, like, at least where my dad worked and stuff back in the day, he never did. It was always muddy and disgusting.
All your quick places are going to do it that way.
Dirty?
Yeah.
No, I drive up and it's like Disneyland. And I come up and the glass doors go, and I drive in and it's like waiting for a ride. You pull up and the lights, and you pull up at station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're like, would you like some coffee, sir?
When I pull up to get my oil changed, I have to open the door and grab tools.
Well, that's by choice, though. You don't have to do that. I bought.
It's more convenient.
Now, keep in mind, these are the first new vehicles I've ever owned with a warranty.
Yeah.
Normally, when I bought a truck, it was like $2,600.
And clapped out.
And then in the next couple weeks, I had to put another $2,600 in it.
Yep.
And by the time I was done after a year or two, I had 20 grand in it.
I've played that game.
And it still didn't, there's still shit wrong with it.
Honda gives us like a service car every time we get out. We have to drive around all day and come back whenever.
Yeah, Toyota's like, fuck off, go across the street and eat.
No, they give us a service one.
I mean, they because we know the owner,
Yeah,
they will, but we don't ever ask for it.
Like, you paid 30% more than it cost. I'm still going to tell you no.
Shit, dude, you go to Cadillac, they'll be like, would you like a crepe, sir? Would you like us to make you a custom omelet? How long will you be here?
Fancy free coffee.
Would you like a massage?
Honda screws up by saying all you can eat, like their little snack bar things inside.
We didn't mean all you can eat.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like,
Something happened here. This is very different than what I thought I had. That 1 inch might have been too much.
because it hadn't been hemmed yet.
I don't know. I did. But we took 2 off the last one. If you look, there's 1 inch tucked under each side of that. You're about to find out. Sitting the wolf. Does that come out at 3? It does, yeah. Who's that? What is it? You better be careful with that. That could be the sound embedded in the ancient aliens that are sitting around here in old tech. It could be like that sound wakes up the Decepticons. Yeah, I'm not catching it. You got to be careful. Push that under there. You won't catch it in that stitch.
Oh, the microfiber?
Yeah.
It'll stay loose in there.
Yeah, it won't be caught in the seam here. Which, I mean, wouldn't matter, but somebody'd look in there. It wouldn't look as good. There we go. All right, let's sew this on here first and see if we can fit the glasses in here at this point. And we can open it back up and then put an attachment method on here. This really does make a difference. I hadn't thought about it at all, but I think it does make a difference.
Wonder how long it lasts on the highest setting.
Well, it's definitely on the highest setting.
Mm-hmm.
That's how everything I have is. You notice when you come in here, all these lights are all the way up.
Yep.
I want to get some power supplies that plug in the wall that I can turn down to like 12 volts and then just put off-road LED light bars.
I'm just gonna get you an old truck bed bars that go over with some orange KC lights.
You know, they're back to that. Like KC was gone for a long time. Now KC's making like legit, well, I mean, I'm sure it's China, but they're making legit HID, like LED lights. I guess you don't even hear HID anymore. All those big trucks in the back, they all have, no, they have HIDs in some of them.
Kits and stuff.
Yeah, I've got the Blitz and the Light Force. I have Light Force on them, big ones.
I remember I paid a couple $1,000s just for my HIDs for my Subaru back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have, I want to say $1,000 a piece in those original Hella 4000s that were HIDs. I think they were $1,000 for the HIDs. Okay, doesn't look very good. If I put another 1/4 inch in here, this would look, I mean, will it function? It'll absolutely function. Get it in and out. It's padded. It's compact. It's not bouncing around. If we added a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch in the sides, it would probably look cleaner. But as it sits right now, I can have this flat. We could put Velcro on there. We could attach it up. We could close the back. Just close the back, which wouldn't look as good. We could run a piece of webbing across here, and then we can just fabricate a lid for this. Probably doesn't even need a lid. It's in there pretty well. I don't know. Let's wrap this up. I'm kind of over this. We need to put some way to limit this. Pinching this in and closing this just kind of looks lame. I'm going to fabricate a piece to cradle the back. We're going to call that 3 inches. So we'll just take this at 3 inches here. Let's call it 4 inches. That'll give us more to work with. Let's call it 4 inches. And that's probably 1, so it needs to be 1, 2, 3. But that was kind of dumb, so let's just cut it at 5. And then we'll just chop it once we have it where we need it to be. So there's that. And then for a lid, let's go 3. Let me sharpen this pencil.
Just a wall of white ones.
That's exactly what we need. It is what we need. All right, we said that's 3, 4, 5. Let's call that 6. So let's go 6. Let's call that 4 inches. We'll make the lid out of this. It's going to be so nice. I know you guys aren't really getting anything out of this video here. It's kind of lame, so. First part's pretty good, though. We're going to need some Velcro on here. I think I already cut the Velcro. No, that was for the other one.
I think you people that are watching these to learn are more, they don't even know if they care too much about what you're building. It's just the little things while you're doing it.
I think the biggest thing is like, there's not a right or wrong way to do it. You might even buy a piece of equipment to duplicate it, right? Buy something with the intent to copy it. Does it matter if the build sequence is the same, if the outcome is the same, if it does the same thing in the end? There's a lot of ways to build shit, and a lot of them are more difficult than, you know, the easy way to do it. And that doesn't mean they're wrong. All right, how are we going to attach this? The intention of this is to go on a visor cover, so let's just put Velcro on the back of this and be done with it, because I don't see carrying this on a belt like that in any manner. I don't have any wide hook out here. This will work. We'll just put 2-inch on the back of this whole thing. Okay. I think this will finish this up. We need a pull tab. This will make a wonderful pull tab right here. Okay. All right, here we go. Shit, which piece is which? What did I say? Let's start here. Let's hem this right here. That'll be the lid. This right here will be the back piece, which we said was 4. I'm just going to hem this in a little bit on each side to make the cradle. From the Cradle to the Grave. You remember that movie? Best movie in the world.
I don't remember it.
Had Steven Seagal and DMX. The best actor in the world, DMX. You feel me?
I don't know about that.
Oh, absolutely. Best actor in the world, DMX.
When you were a kid, did you have a favorite action guy?
Oh,
That was Jean-Claude Van
I
Damme.
remember standing on the playground in like 4th, 5th grade, and the discussion was, could Stallone beat up Schwarzenegger, and where did Von Damme fit in there, right? Because there was a movie called Cyborg, but I had not seen Cyborg. I'd also not seen like Friday the 13th or any of those movies, but I knew all about them, but I hadn't seen any of them because I wasn't allowed to watch them.
Are you talking like movie characters fighting or real life fighting?
Well, we didn't know that they weren't the same thing. Well, we were talking movie characters.
Yeah, you thought Stallone was Rambo.
Yeah. Well, there's Rambo. Was it even before Stallone? What movie was Stallone in? Because I remember seeing,
His first movie.
maybe that was it. Because I remember seeing Rambo in the theater, and I don't think that was till I was 13. And I was, what, like 8, 9, 10 in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I think. I don't know. But I do remember standing by the hill. We used to all ride our BMX bikes and jump that huge fucking hill. And I remember standing there younger than that and having that conversation there by the monkey bars. All right, we're going to make this footprint here. That's not going to work, is that? Need this to kick in like this. And we need this footprint to be less. This is 4. And the back of this is 3. We need that to be inboard. Run this.
How many projects do you have just sitting around that you've kind of done like this, where you're like, oh, I've got it exactly, and then you just kind of make it 75% of where you thought?
Hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. There are bags of them. We had something happen this morning weird. Well, last night, we got a big batch of these butt packs. And I was moving them this morning, and I realized that the handles on them were a little different. They're fully functional. There's just half of them are this way and half of them are that way. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? And they're like, well, we followed the sample. I'm like, show me your sample. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the sample. So what's up with these that aren't like the sample? Because they're a 1/4 inch off on each, right? The handles are spaced a little wider than this other one. And the other lady's like, well, I have the other sample. I'm like, what do you mean? What other sample? She pulls it out and I go, that explains everything. We took all the old samples. When we moved in this building, I rebuilt everything and freshened some things. We never told anybody we did it. We just improved some things. And they at one point, they'll lose the sample. And I've got those big, huge super kit bags full of gear, and some of them know that gear's in there. So somebody would go get it out of there, and then the other sample would show up, and now we're working off both samples. Even though they're marking it, they're second guessing the marks because they're looking at the sample, and there's a bunch of always, I'm like, what the fuck's going on out here? Well, we're trying to decide which one. Well, there shouldn't be any question of it. And I need to just go through and rebuild all of the fucking samples and take all that shit. I had it where they couldn't get to it. But remember when we cleaned out that whole area because we were going to build podcast studio there? It got pushed back out to them. And that's when they got access to it. Like we're changing a lot of our stuff. Like I'm making my pull tabs. The end of the, where we terminate the webbing, we fold it over. I'm making that bigger because I want to be able to put a channel of one wrap through there. Okay. So you can wrap it all up and terminate it so you don't have strap. Just, adding little things that we should have already added. One wrap didn't even exist back then though. All right, that's the lid that I just did right there. We're just going to sew that on to the back. This right here is going to be the pull tab for that. I'm not even going to hem that under, doesn't need it. I would like to have more color in there, but if you're worried about this fraying, you can definitely cut it with a hot knife. They make a little gun looking thing that's specifically for cutting with a hot knife. You can do that. Stay All Right, like I said earlier, has it. This, I'm going to cover this. Man down. I'm going to cover this right here. I'm going to go ahead and sew this in as a pull tab. That will all be concealed. Might be like treasure map one day, so take note. You can write secret notes on there. All right, that will be the lid. You can just sew this in here just like so, or you could do it the proper way. Hem this back where it's clean and then sew it in there. Which way are we going to do it? Now, this has to come off of here. This is going to fall here. Do I want to see that or do I want to see brown? I want to see that. So we're going to call this the top. I'm going to clamp this right here. I'm going to pull and try to expose a stitch. Not at all working. I'm not sure where that stitch is at. Let's try it from this side. There we go. Remember, I just single stitched this because we just put it together for fit. If you have a project like this that you need, that you're going to pull apart a few times, you can hire Brandel. He'll show up at your place with his seam ripper.
I will do a great job.
What is that?
an app.
Does the laundry machine have an app on it? You set a timer? Fuck, you never know.
I know. Like, it's like one of those refrigerators with a TV in it.
Okay, while we have this back apart, let's go ahead and get that Velcro on there. I usually like to put the hook Velcro on very last, but if I don't put it on now, I'm going to forget it. So let's go ahead and get that on there. I feel, yeah, that's not, we're out of thread. No, it's just the original tail got caught in the Velcro. Okay. This is the cradle piece I was talking about that will limit the these falling out the back. I've got it made too wide right here. Let's just go ahead and hem this over one more time. We need this to be, the height of the pouch is only 1 inch off the deck. So let's go 1, 2, let's call this 3, which is what I said originally. Now, let's hem this. Do we even need to hem it? No, we don't. Let's just get it in here. Still a little wide. Let's go one more time on the other side here. Nice. Way more labor than needed, but no raw edges. Also doesn't matter on this. We need 1 inch exposed. So let's tack this in here. If I was going to build this pouch for real, I would probably put this on the outside so that it doesn't kill this microfiber. Also keeps things from stuttering right. If you watch me build the covert rig, I put most of my webbing on the outside. Not as clean, but it keeps things from catching and stuttering on there. That's why that's like that. Now, when you stack those, you don't have any choice. Something has to go on the inside, but you notice I didn't fold them under, right? That's so that it's less to catch. If you watched last video we did, take note on that. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, there's that. I need 1 inch right here. I'm going to actually go ahead and cut a lot of this off. I probably just cut off too much. Let's just tack that. Yeah, I did cut off too much. Let's just put this right here. Okay, that is how that will go. Let's get this Velcro on here before I forget it for the closure. I usually put more Velcro than I need for the loop. That allows me to move this lid. So if I have something longer in here, it allows me to come up for something taller, but when completely closed, it uses all the Velcro. I usually make my Velcro longer than it ever needs to be. Just gives you more room for travel. If you're using black Velcro, for instance, on woodland and you don't want to see it, then make it fit, with less adjustment, you'll have less dark color on there if you're limited by, you know, your material somehow. I came from a time when there was only black Velcro. Like, we couldn't even get any colored Velcro. And if to get, like, if I wanted green Velcro when I started out the first 5-6 years, I had to buy a dye lot, which was like 10 to 15,000 yards. And that was 10 to 15,000 yards of 1 inch and 1.5 and 2 inch, not combined. It was, you know, each dye lot had to buy it, do the minimums of each size. So, all right, there we go. Let's put this lid on here. Do we want the lid outside or inside? We'll clean it up a little bit and just tack it right here so it comes from the outside. Let's just fold this under here. Now, if this was coming from the inside, I folded it the wrong way, but because it's on the outside, now if we were putting it at the inside, it would fold the opposite direction, okay? We're just going to tack this right here. Who knows? I might really like this pouch. I might love it once I start using it. There's always something you're not aware of. The one you think is the best, a lot of times you'll find out that it's not.
You start using a random thing that you've had laying around and like, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Or Jeff will pick something up and he's like, can I have this? I'm like, yeah. What are you going to use it for? And it's something completely, I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Like, 1 out of every 4 visits he comes here, I feel like he does something weird like that, where he's like, oh.
I'll be at his house. I'll be at his house looking around and I'm like, the fuck, where'd you get this? He's like, you threw it away. I go, what are you doing with it? He's like, I use it for whatever. I'm like, where'd this come? He's like, you built it. I go, I don't remember fucking build it. He's like, yeah, you remember it? And he'll rattle it off. And I'm like, oh yeah. It's like being over at Mick's or somebody that knows Mick and you're like, man, this thing's super cool. Where'd this come from? He's like, Mick made it. I'm like, what? This is really bothering me. I keep hitting this.
I've been looking at it since you showed it to me. Like, we gotta get this thing off there.
All right, so you can build a lot of pouches this way, front, back, with the cradle on the bottom. And if you put these pleats, like if you sew these lines here, that will be, it'll kind of collapse, right, when it's empty. Like that pistol mag storage pouch I made that held 6 mags. It's a lot more work, but it looks pretty fucking cool, and it has the appearance of being a lot slimmer. It probably is a little slimmer, but it doesn't matter because the material just will compress anyways. But having this cradle on the bottom, instead of sewing this and pleating it, you know, in and sewing it, that makes your item sit taller, which means the lid has to be taller. It just makes the footprint bigger. If you put this cradle in the bottom, which I've sewn this one a little tight, but if this is 1 inch here and you have 1 inch flat cradle, your item sits all the way down to the bottom and your footprint. So if you're on armor and you're like a shorter dude, that can make a difference on what you're able to put you know, above it or below it, depending how the rig is set up. A lot of rigs, you can only put shit right here, but like if you look at our original NSW rigs and our Mookie rig and stuff like that, like Ben Mookie was not like a really big, he's not a really tall dude. He's actually shorter than I am, and I'm only 5'8". But if you wanted to run, ideally, guys were always going to put their mags on the bottom. So you had, 3, 6, 9, 12 M4 mags. You can't put anything above it because now you can't get into the mags. So what they would do is we would raise the magazines up 3 inches and we would put our frags or smokes underneath. Well, you couldn't get them that way either, but we could flip them upside down and now that stowage could fall down into the hand. And that's why all those rigs were set up. If you look at all the original SEAL team chest rigs we did in the early 2000s, late 90s, there was that strip of 2-inch scuba webbing underneath the mags. So you had 12 mags, you had that strip of 2-inch, and then the zippered pockets on the side were the full length. But on there, about the only thing that was useful for was horizontal pistol mags, which still kind of interfered with each other. But where it shined was you could put smokes or you could put frags there. And that's, 40 mic too. For 40 mic, they would hang down a little bit. Yeah, you did see a lot of guys put 40 there also. All right, so there's that. I don't know if I love it. We don't even know if it fits. Okay, it fits those. Huh? It fits. Does it matter that it's not geometrically equal? I don't know. It's a lot of times we'll build something and the math will be perfect and we'll build it. And then when we photograph it, we're like, this doesn't look right. The bird catcher rig was the first thing that was a good example, right? The very first FUPA fanny pack we made, do you remember that? We made it out of ATAX and we were going out kayaking and Jeff wanted to take his pistol with him. So I made it as, it was just a chest rig. That's all it was. And we kept talking about, we're going to make fanny packs great again. Bring back fanny packs, bring back fanny packs. We took that rig, which was square, and it was exactly like the FUPA, but it was just for the chest. And it had carried the pistol, some mags, and a couple other things. It didn't look right though. So it
was too square?
It was too square. So we brought it up and made it look correct to the eye. And we're like, that's a fanny pack. And that's when we added the fanny pack strap to the chest rig. But it originally was never going to be a fanny pack, the FUPA. And that's what I'm talking about. With eyeglasses in here, looks pretty perfect. Cody just had you got an M4 mag? Cody just had an M4 mag in here. Fit an M4. I don't think it will with the lid on here now. Height-wise, it might. But glasses, perfect. These glasses, it's a little cattywampus. Does it fucking matter? Probably not. Throw a mag in there, see if that fits.
Every glass is going to be different.
Yeah.
That's all.
Lid's a little short. But, there you go. Am I going to build this? I'm not. I don't know. This is the shit we should give away for contest winners and shit.
You just start stacking up stuff random that you have.
Yeah, we should just build cool one-off random shit just so guys, I mean, I'll bet guys, somebody learned some shit from this thing. And then we just give them away in some manner.
And also, like you were saying, if you stick that on your visor cover this weekend, you'll probably actually use it.
I will. I mean, I've got 10 trucks out there that I'll need a pair of glasses in them. Here, let's go check right now. Because I find myself, the more I wear these, the more I have to wear them, unfortunately. And this is a custom prescription, but I have a pair of readers that's 1.5 just from Walmart. And I bought, because they have a thing, right? You just put them on and you're like, which one reads the best, right? Do I need 1.5 up to like 4? And 1.5 was the best. So I bought like a handful of them. And this is just some shit I bought forever ago, not realizing that they had magnification. These are 2s. And I can read really well looking down at a phone. And then up here, I'm clear, right? So the problem with these that I have is I can see all of this, but I can't see, everything's kind of blurred, right? So if I'm driving in the truck, Amanda's driving, I'm always like this. So I know what I'm, but I can do that. Anyways, I want to keep one of these in every vehicle on every visor. And that is a very fucking complicated way to do it. I think we can all agree it's pretty cool. Let's go stick this in a truck right now and see what that looks like. I was putting one of these, one of the other ones on a visor yesterday, and I thought, man, I should just make a visor cover that's all Velcro.
Yeah.
I saw some guys are doing like molly cut panels, like my seat backers, that are on visors. But the thing with all that molly shit is, sure, or metal, but all the molly stuff, I've always wanted Velcro on all my molly panels, like this. Unfortunately, when the seats are up, I can't have anything on these panels.
Yeah.
These panels, to make these panels perfect, they need holes everywhere, like the Rego ones have, which are badass. And this whole thing should be covered in a sheet of Velcro. That would make it 100% usable. But really, all the stuff I'm trying to put on there, I'm never going to weave any surplus gear on there. I could just have a Velcro panel would be great.
That's the other thing. If I was going to mount stuff on the seat back, I want to be able to grab that and pull it off.
So do you remember we used to make a seat back panel? There in the Suburban?
Over there, yeah.
But they always kind of sagged.
Yep.
They need a sheet of plastic in them.
Yeah.
And I would pick, like, I had some, like you have an $800 Arc'teryx jacket. I would keep it in there hidden. Nobody would ever see it. I'd keep all my full-size map books, and then I could put whatever I wanted on there. But that's another project.
The first one you built actually had pockets and organization.
Does the Suburban have, did I build Velcro molly panels for the Suburban? Because I put them in the skirt.
Talking about the back doors? No, you built limiting straps for that. For the doors themselves, there is a single panel in the back of the Excursion, not the Suburban.
Got it. So here's a Velcro panel, one of our visor covers, and I've got Amanda's battery cards in here, and I just keep those in place. And then I've got this Velcro right here. I can stick it, wherever I want it to be. But that will hold my glasses or a mag, whatever you're going to put in there, a couple candy bars. I find uses for the elastic, but more and more I'm thinking I would rather have just Velcro there.
I'll throw a mesh pocket on that.
Yeah, mesh pocket would be good. It'll hold a lot of shit on a mesh pocket. But she's got all kinds of shit on hers. The ones we had fully loaded up, we took out for pictures, for video, and then it just never went back. But there it is. That's the intention of it. Works pretty good. Amanda seems to have coffee all over the door here. Not really. I'm sure that's me somehow. I don't know how that happened, but there it is. And that's the one we're not going to build. So